Greetings to Ali, this is ARIDIF, it's ARIDIF, in this is it spelled. We understand you have many queries for this day, but before diving into those queries, there are two things in which we wish to express. First, above and beyond all things, to know, feel, perceive that you are loved is the utmost importance. And secondly, we wish to express to you that it is our greatest excitement in this moment and in all next moments. You may begin your queries at your leisure. Yes, yes, and thank you also. Yes, as you are aware, with all consciousness, there are multiple consciousnesses that are attached, that are connected, that are there to support, create, and lend energy to, as well as seeing your own energy, taking that energy. Within your spirit guides, or what we would define as spirit guides, with those that are non-incarnated beings who are existing to co-create with you and create from your chakra system. There are three guides. Those entities are co-creating with you in every moment. Those entities also creating with you over multiple lifespans and incarnations. Those entities are a part of your daily structure, but those that are not part of your daily structure are co-creating from multiple areas of your own co-creation and in your dream state. And the entities that have been mostly creating with you in the last 1.3 of your years linearly are those that are Syrian beings, and those consciousnesses are connected to you from dream state, awakened state, and even through your intuition. It is a collective group of beings. The specific nature of yours is 37 beings that create with you, from Syrian aquatic beings, Syrian humanoid beings, but also Syrian reptilian beings. And those entities are all of what you would call the type 1 or type 2 benevolent variety. Their spectrum is of great knowledge and understanding. The humanoid energy focuses upon harmonics and utilizes sound vibration through your own dream state. The entities that are aquatic also sound vibration, but more so geometric energy, and co-create with you. There have been many dream states where you have dreamt about water and nature, and in those dream states, the reptilian, aquatic, and humanoid versions of the 37 in your collective have co-created with you. One dream specifically, where you are working with an aquatic being or creature, that entity was the direct representation of that energy. But those are not the only beings that co-create with you. There are again a plethora of energies. Some of these entities are Pleiadian in nature that come in and out of your experience for the last 1.5 months. There are more that are Arcturian that have been with you for over 3 years, coming in and out of your experience. There is a continuation of energy. It is dependent upon your vibration in that moment, what co-creates with you. Yes, when you are looking at your overall energy, the solar plexus region is one area that carries a bit of resistance. You have worked to get rid of that resistance, but the self-critical energies that you have upon your own, perhaps as you would see it, external efforts, dealing with others, co-creating with others. When you get hard upon your own self, it creates more resistance. That resistance carries a looping energy into your first chakra. So there are feelings of anxiety that come along with that energy, and that creates parts of your own internal energy that creates physical illness for you. There are energies that are also within your throat chakra that are difficult to manifest outward. It is not nearly as much communicating, but it is communicating what the heart is saying. It is difficult to express those energies, often to the ones that are either most meaningful to you or that you desire to create larger energies with. You can express your love, you can express the ideals that you wish to share, but there are certain parts of your energy that you are not willing to express. And that is normal. This is the same construct that lies amongst the majority of human collective consciousness. But within you, those are the parts that start holding up your energy. The heart chakra is always resistant within the human collective consciousness to a degree. That does carry over energy, and with your throat chakra, it loops back into the high heart energy, which creates a bit of discomfort energy in that area also. Your overall energy can be fixed fairly clearly with your own energy of moving through your emotional states, of your relationships, of your self perspective, and of the feeling of belonging within the entire collective consciousness and in your specific environment. These are all very basic constructs. You do understand the nature of some of the energies that are within you, or some of the issues that span from the energies. But there is also deeper looking to do. You have many subconscious layers that you have not tapped into yet. Your expansion of understanding yourself has grown exponentially, but the levels of unconscious and subconscious energy is something that all humans yet again deal with. That is based in your third chakra. If you open the third chakra energy, you will find a great deal about those subconscious energies. We always advise the 10-step process, the belief system. This will help you find some of those non-relevant energies that are going throughout your chakras and help release some of the very relevant energies that are hidden away in the subconscious. Yes, speak to Rob directly afterwards. He will guide you to the area. Yes. Yes, and how is this spelled in the English language? Yes, and what we understand, we have no reference from Rob's perspective, but from your energy, this is a level of consciousness that is above the astral version or above the noticeable version to the human collective consciousness. Is this correct? Yes, this energy is something that most humans would refer to as the fourth density of Earth. That is the level of consciousness that you're already being directed in. There are versions that are above the fourth density, as you are aware. Fifth and sixth density is also included within the physical realms of consciousness, but this specific level is only introducing the mid to high fourth density level. This is where you are able to start achieving, start connecting, start manifesting, and start co-creating on a larger level. This energy is where most of the beings that once most humans believed to be mythical in nature, but some are starting to connect to in this moment, are located. That is where they live. That is where they co-create in their highest forms. These are entities such as the entities called fairies and the entities that are called Sasquatch, the energies that do not appear to be natural in your environment or relevant to your day-to-day experience. But these entities were on Earth collective consciousness before humans. So as you shift into your third density, they also shift into the fourth. As you start shifting into the fourth, they also start shifting into the fifth. And that energy, they will always be at least one vibration or harmonic level above you. But in fourth density, you are able to start expanding your own consciousness outward. It is not only these beings that exist there, there are also a multitude of beings that visit Earth on a regular basis from the higher densities or dimensions. Those energies can be pulled upon also. When most entities in your own historical energies start referring to this place, they are speaking of versions such as the Christian heaven or such as the Buddhist nirvana. It is not just a place to go or a place to enhance yourself until you go, but it is an energy that is an actual harmonic, vibrational, physical iteration of the energies of the higher dimensional consciousness. Yes, this entity was a being who was, as you expressed, a prophet, an entity who is tapping in to the level of fourth density consciousness in a third density body. There were many misinterpretations of what this entity expressed. There were many variances that were written historically about how this entity expressed. But in the same way that Christianity has the entity or energy of Jesus, the Mohammed energy is one that is Muslim in nature. It is the speaking prophet that shows the entire Earth collective consciousness of what the capacity of a third density being without resistance can do. There are miracles that are expressed to be had. There are large showings of expressing connection to God, expressing their own consciousness in a large and significant way. That is what all humans are capable of. In the Christianity version, there was expressions or verbal misunderstandings that say, "What I am, you shall be once." That is not the interpretation given. Through Mohammed, through Jesus, through Krishna, through Buddha, all of these entities are collected to the Christic consciousness or Christic consciousness, crystalline consciousness, which is the iteration, manifestation, and co-created collective version of the greatest, least resistant version of humans that are possible. All of you needed this in order to implement it into an understanding that all of you could have. But as you are well aware, there are many forces within the Earth collective consciousness. Some of these forces, through ignorance, changed the energies and meanings behind much of the words of the prophets. But the majority of changes that were made will do so to try to implement a control around many humans. If you do not do what this book says, if you do not become docile in what you desire to do, there can be horrific consequences eternally. But now humans who start tapping into their higher self understand there is no eternal any one thing. It is always a shifting vibration, whether it is of your own making or co-creating. It is always a shift of consciousness. Yes, of course, when you are going through your own journey, that is the specific journey, and we understand that is not always well accepted by those who ask us what is their mission or journey. Being on Earth and living, that is your overall journey. But before coming into the Earth Collective, there were three things that were most perhaps focused upon, worked upon, and manifested towards the opening of these three pathways. The first is going through and teaching. That is connecting to your own higher self, collecting all of the information externally and internally that is possible, and iterating that into a way that is comfortable for others. Because you understand the nature of the human thought process, because you understand those with the negative religious connotations, you have the ability to translate what is truly being said to what they believe is being said. By that essence, you have great tools to share with multitudes of entities. That is a process that will not be something that is completely quick and easy. It is something that will only work and manifest outwardly if you carry a level of excitement with you and you truly tap into the highest portions of your own self. You are doing that now. You are exploring, you are expanding, you are understanding the nature of your own self and higher self in the mix or in that time. So as you go through that, that is one of the three areas that was meant for you to be a possible pathway. Now, before we tap into the other two, we wish to express also that before you go into physical reality, there are many plans that are made. Those plans are only completed if the lower fractal consciousness's free will takes it to that pathway. One of these pathways will sound extremely foreign to you, but the other two will make more sense. The second, and one that aligns with you and you understand, is going through and teaching those that are in younger ages about how they are able to go through their teenagedom, young adulthood, and let go of resistances along the way, how they can keep that version of innocence that comes as a child, and allow them to utilize the tools that are already strong within them and carry them throughout. Again, this takes a great deal of integrating your own higher self, understanding teachings, etc. The third path is one where you were working in the idea of the scientific realm, and although this does not sound completely foreign to you, the energies of the specific nature of the sciences that were most desired before entering, it was dealing with the electromagnetic energies, creating free energy within electromagnetic energy, and placing the entire field of your life, giving away family, giving away all external and internal connections so that you could dive deeply into the scientific mind of that free energy This is still one pathway that could be had, and there are multiple ways to do it, not meaning you have to detach from family, friends, etc. But it is one that, although is still relevant, is less connected to in this moment than the previous two. Yes, no, the first is the one where you are connected with the most, and that is the energy of teaching in general. The second was teaching, but teaching towards a certain age range. The first portion is very esoteric. It is very etherical in the way that you would teach. You would teach from the level of consciousness in where we are expressing to one another in this moment, technically, around the constructs of consciousness itself, while working in the second layer of teaching, working with those that are younger. That is more an expression of being able to allow them mentally, emotionally, and psychologically to keep what is theirs, to go forward without resistance. You do not have to tap into the consciousness aspect of that fully in that realm. It is more mainstream to work with that energy. But the first level of teaching that we'd expressed is complete connection to all of the information, the in-depth information. Yes, there are multiple routes, but the quickest way is to start working within the same areas that you are now, expressing yourself, understanding yourself, tapping into yourself. We would suggest deeply to work on meditation for the deepest paths of meditation, not meaning that you must detach yourself from your physical body, such as Rob does when he is meditating, but as far depth as you can in meditation. Doing this every day with practice, continuing to meditate, continuing to bring in your higher self to the conversation is very important. The continuation of expanding in that way is one of the least resistant and most natural paths. The second is start sharing what you know now. Share it publicly, share it to friends, share it very privately, whatever way you do this, as long as your excitement is placed within this and not a fear of negative repercussions. That is something that attaches itself to all human beings, especially when they are worried of how the world will perceive them when sharing the in-depth information. If that is not something that you can overcome, one way to help bypass this is to share it anonymously throughout the internet with a name that is not yours. By doing this, it allows you to skip that part slightly, but overcome many other obstacles, such as how to share, what to share, how resonant it must be with you before sharing, etc. Yes, another way is to work within your own energy. The chakra energies that we've expressed, work on those from the emotional standpoint. Utilizing the 10-step process is always our own specific tool that works for the majority of the human collective consciousness, but also reattach yourself to memories that come from younger age. Between the years of approximately 7.5 to 14, there were areas of your experience that had resistance within them. Go back to revisit those with your newfound mind, with your newfound understanding, and without attachment to what you were and what you are now. By going through and releasing some of that energy that was traumatic for you, by going through that energy and revisiting, but with that newfound detachment and relevancy in your own mind, heart, and chakra system. It will also help release some of the distance of energy that caused resistances from then till now. As a human, it is very normal to focus on one step leading to the next, but you have to detach yourself from your past and work in the now moment. That will be the quickest pathway to eliminate the resistances of the past, but also some of the resistances that you carry because you believe that that is what you must do, because it is the past, because it added on to your own consciousness. Yes, there are multiple ways to meditate, but for you specifically, it will be one that is oriented in the letting go thought process. Also, there will be moving sensations at first. What we mean is ground yourself, and there are multiple grounding techniques, but the one that we've expressed previously is one that is very important. And to save time with what you and I are speaking of today, you may speak to Rob about the grounding technique. After connecting through your grounding technique, start moving your arms, your legs, and your body. Move it forward and backward, side to side, in circles, counterclockwise. Create blood flow within your body, but also create energy. As you are moving, you are breathing deeply, inward from your nose, filling up your lungs and body with energy, and breathing out resistance. After that is achieved for approximately 5 to 10 minutes, then go into meditative state where you are counting yourself up from the number 1 to the level of 12. Each step represents a heightened version of consciousness and a heightened version of density. When you are doing this, also walk through your chakras simultaneously. Utilize the chakra of the first nature to both the first chakra and first density, the second to second chakra and second density. Once you have reached the seventh chakra, you can relate that to the seventh density, but afterwards just relate to the densities, 8th, ninth through 12th, going to the densities, and then imagine yourself through each step and each density. Your consciousness is then expanding. Circularly, you will always be within a sphere of consciousness, but each step upwards is an expansion for yourself outwards until the 12th level, where you are filling the entire galactic collective consciousness. This is a visualization technique that also aligns with your own ability to stretch out your consciousness. In this time, trying to keep your mind quiet, but also allowing information to come in. This is counterintuitive and difficult for many humans to experience. But when you are going through that energy, anything that comes in about your physical body, let it roll off as a wave from an ocean. Anything that comes in related to what you're experiencing or what communication can come in, pay attention to that. Latch on to that, explore it, let it take you where it needs to take you. Yes, doing it as frequently as possible is always suggested. The more you are in alignment with that vibration, the more likely you are to open the channels of your psychic networking and your higher fractal consciousness. But we understand in the earth environment there must be times or energies and where you can place this. At least one period for at least 45 minutes to 1 hour per day would be the minimal construct. Doing this in midday time or later early evening would be the greatest time period for your own specific consciousness build. Going too early in the morning or too late at night can be useful, but not as useful. By doing this, you are allowing yourself to connect in that energy. We also suggest that placing either binaural beats within headphones while you are working with that consciousness, or by going through the nature sound audio would be your highest percentage and probability of success rate. Yes, of course. In your first chakra, second and third, that is where the first guide exists. That entity is masculine in form and carries one of its iterations and incarnations with you as a personal identity in this moment. Now, understanding that is always changing, as they are not just the one entity who incarnated with you 800 years ago. It is also entities who have incarnated with you several dozens to several hundreds of other times. This entity is 800 years previously in the world that, or part of the world that you would call Central America. This entity and yourself were connecting There is no one name that comes in this energy, but Cheta is something that is vibrationally, soundfully representful. Yes, it can be useful with this specific guide to work with that sound vibration, Chata. That energy is something that is representing its vibration now. But every time you are working with your first, second, and third chakra, you are already working with it. So when you are in meditation, if you just lock into those three chakras and feel that vibration, it will be enough to co-create with that energy. Going up to your second guide in the heart chakra region, that entity works with your heart exclusively. This entity is a feminine being. It represents its own consciousness again as one iteration of many from your own incarnation 1400 years previously. And this is in the area that you now call Northwestern Europe, or more specifically, in the furthest west portion of Scandinavia, in the western southern portion of the peninsula. This entity worked with you about constructs of love, marriage, relationships, and sexuality when you shared that incarnation with her in that previous engagement. That energy is something that still works with you and still has resonance with you. So, looking at that time period, that area of the world, but also feeling a love energy will help you tap into that guide specifically. The other guide is one that works in the last three chakras, your throat, third eye, and crown. This entity is both masculine and feminine. It represents two different energies that you have co-created with. One was a wife of your own energy in a previous incarnation from approximately 145 years previously. The other form is a masculine form, and this entity was a husband when you took form as a female being. This area was what you would call your Middle Eastern area, approximately 400 AD in your time period. This was an entity that took your own life into their own protection, married, had children with. So all of those energies are relevant to relationships and co-creation of the most intimate form. They take that iteration, incarnation, and perspective of theirs and place it with yours in this moment because it is most relevant to your experience in this moment. It is hard to connect with energies that you are not aware have intimacy or intimate nature to them. Yes, it carries no one specific vibration, but the sound vibration of Lanith is most relevant. Perhaps you would spell this as Lanieth in the English equivalent. Yes, again carrying no name, but Slev and Nahin are two of the energies. Slev is that is feminine, Nahin is masculine. Yes, yes, before sleeping in the evening, as you are laying down, utilizing a pre-sleep meditation will help open up your dream state regions. Have you ever perceived or worked upon the construct of lucid dreaming? Yes, one of the suggestions for that besides the pre-sleep meditation would be using perhaps it is called a herb in your own society. It is known as Hogwarts, or let us use, we are mistaking the name, but mugworts, yes. Mugworts is an energy that is helping the pre-sleep state open up to memory of the sleep state. It will not help you with lucidity, but it will help you bring back the memories of what you are already doing in the sleep state. So before entering sleep state, breathe, complete breath deeply, Inside, bringing energy in that is positive and neutral, and breathing out anxiety, resistance, etc. And as you are laying upon the bed, visualize yourself entered into a four-sided pyramid. Place this pyramid over the entire bed structure where you are sleeping and have it going at least 3 feet below the floor surface. By doing this, you are visualizing each wall as the same color of green, and the bottom of the pyramid would be a color of white. This visualization alone helps bring in and channel the etheric energies that are connecting you in the grid. Also, it will help enhance the version of the grid that you are working with. Most humans work in the first and second etheric layer in their dream state, but going into third and fourth is very possible with this visualization alone. It will help bring your own dream state into your full body more deeply, the memory more deeply, but most of all, it will help you achieve the fifth and sixth density version of yourself in sleep state instead of only the fourth or the high third. First of all, perceiving them as miracles is your greatest obstacle altogether. You have perceived that it is hard or impossible to do. That is the name of miracle. So first of all, try to call it something different. Call it a manifestation of great proportion. Call it a manifestation of ease, whatever is most least resistant in vibration. Secondly, you have to re-examine your belief systems about what it is you are trying to do. The beliefs themselves create barriers of energy and manifestational quality. When you are trying to do a miracle, for instance, let us say turning water into another substance altogether, evaporating it without using scientific tools, then visualize the construct scientifically of what is occurring, because you are connecting to the physical elements of that water. You are already engaging at the water as H2O. But yes, but identically and specifically dividing those molecules into their own elemental energies is what the end result of this is. You understand this scientifically, you understand this metaphysically. Separating them is as easy as visualizing those constructs, but you believe that just by thinking cannot be done fully. By manifesting, you cannot always instantly manifest. Those beliefs have to be worked on. The miracle construct is the most difficult in the human collective because of all of the beliefs that you've been taught about the impossibility of that. You have to erase those walls of resistance before you start moving. Again, the 10-step belief system will help you exponentially with this construct. Yes, utilizing the construct of third eye meditation, there are multitudes of these that are shared within your Earth Collective that are useful and workful. Also, utilizing the deepest form of breathing during your meditations, but after or before your meditations, look into the construct of dragon breathing, where you are taking deep and fast breaths inward and outward before your meditation and after, or at least before. If you are doing this, you are also bringing in energy through breath. The visualization construct is important, yes, but the breath itself is its own energy. These can help you in small ways add to what you are already doing. One thing also that we wish to express to you, as you are going through all of the journeys of learning, incorporating, and opening up your own energy, the self-construct of not being able to discern between your own communication and your higher self's communication is of vital importance. This is something that nearly every human who first starts, or even who has went years of exploring, have difficulty with. Remind yourself that when you are asking of your higher self, it always answers. The majority of time when you are receiving, you believe it to be made up in your own mind. You believe it to be your imagination or hopeful thinking. Set yourself in to the environment of sending and receiving, and knowing that you are sending and receiving. Start small with the very smallest form. First of all, using non-consequential items to ask first is most important because it has zero relevance if it is wrong in your own mind. So ask questions about things that are not relevant. Should I wear red shirt to work today or a blue shirt? First of all, ask yes or no. Should I wear this red shirt? You will hear yes or no quite instantly. Allow yourself to know that that is from the higher self. Trust yourself that that is coming from the higher self. Then utilize it. If you hear no, that means the blue shirt it is. Wear the blue shirt. See that it has no consequences, but it can enhance your experience. After you have done this and proven to yourself that you are accurate in your returns of consciousness, move to the next step. Then ask things that are larger. Should I purchase this that I believe is out of my own ability to pay for? Yes or no? When you receive, act upon it. The more that you build up, the larger the consequences of being wrong are. And the more that you see that you are correct, the more you learn to trust that communication. That is very important also. We wish to express that we have approximately 5 minutes remaining in our co-creation. Whatever questions you feel are most important, you may place them in the front of your question. Yes, first of all, understanding that both your children and your partner, your wife, these entities are a part of your co-created collective consciousness called a family, but each one of them also have their own identity. Have you heard us speak previously of the five-person dynamic in a relationship? Yes, you yourself and your wife, for instance, for one relationship, both of you are your own individual entities, but there are also more entities involved in this relationship. There is the collective version of both of you, which is the couple, which is the family dynamic. Then there is the version of your wife that you perceive her to be, and the version of you that she is perceiving. Oftentimes, when you project out your own beliefs about this person, you are not truly seeing the energy in front of you. This occurs in almost every human dynamic. So, try to be open with communication with your wife in that area and say, what is it about the way that I am seeing you that is incorrect? And allow her to communicate that. Also, when she is seeing your incorrect version, proclaim what is correct to her, but be honest with yourself, be honest with one another. Do this also with your children. Each time that you are doing that, asking what is important to them, telling them what is important to you, going through each and every dynamic, financial, energetic, relationship oriented, etc., by opening up that pathway and aligning the version of you that they perceive and the version of them that you perceive is vitally important. It allows that dynamic to come to an equilibrium. Once you achieve this, once this is started in practice, then following that excitement that feeds you into helping your family, to help guide the family, to share with the family, and to create with the family, will come easily and naturally. Following your instincts. You hear the words, listen to your gut. That is a third chakra energy. Your third chakra has a great deal of the answers. Your excitement is the way to follow that level of energy. If you are excited to work with your family on a project, work with it. If you are excited to do it alone, do that. If you are excited to use money to invest, then utilize that excitement. But do not allow the dynamic of other entities to disrupt this. This means sometimes you will have to be fully integrated into your family co-creative dynamic. Other times you must do something for yourself. In order for you to give all of yourself to others, you must also place a great deal of happiness in your own expression. That can only be done by creating in both the family dynamic and personal. Perpetuating that variety of energy will be your greatest asset to the family in whole. Working with finances, you'll also have to release levels of fear. There are fears attached with every human when it comes to finances and money. Even those who are extremely abundant, there are still fears of losing it or doing something wrong with the money that they do have. So work upon that level of not fearing money, only seeing it for what it is, an energy and a tool to utilize, and follow the excitements that guide you and where to use that. That will help you exponentially. We wish to express that for this evening our time has come to an end, but before disconnecting, we wish to express to it was our greatest excitement to have co-created with you as we connect your energy in this way, in this time, in a different form than previously. We learn a great deal about your own energy, and that in balance shows us ourselves as we perceive that part of ourselves that once we have never perceived. We both grow in exchange of co-creating, and we thank you for this. Yes, we will bid you adieu for this evening. You are loved. All right, how'd it go? Oh, amazing is good. Mm. Oh, that's the one thing about RNF that a lot of people say is they'll listen to the session later and they'll get something. They'll listen to it a week later, get more a month later. It's like every time they're unwrapping something new from it. So, it, absolutely, it's an encoded message. The more you listen, the more you put in energy, the more you get back from it. So that's great. Trep told me something too that I needed to get the 10-step thing for you. So I'm gonna find that with my thing. All right, is that something you're interested in? Okay. Um, oh, okay. All right. That'll work too. Let me see. Okay. Sorry, when I get back, I'm still a little not grounded, but I remembered the name of my own website. Finally. All right. So the first link I'm gonna send you, you have to scroll down to the second video, which is called 10 Step to Belief System Change. And then underneath that video, there's a paragraph, and that's where you'll find the PDF worksheet if you want to do it on paper, which a lot of people do. They say is the best way. I do it in my head, but that's because I've done it for so long and done it so much. But the PDF sheet, Kalina made, and it's beautiful and it works well. As far as the neutralizing thing, I'm not sure what video it is, but I do know it's one of the last personal sessions that I shared publicly. I might have to get back to you on that one, um, but I do know it's on. I can explain it to you kind of quickly if that helps. Um, Basically, you're gonna kind of sit down and you're gonna make all your muscles like jello, just completely let go. And some people start from the top, from their head and go down to their feet, others from the feet. After you've completely relaxed, breathe while you're doing it too. Deep breath in. I always breathe in through my nose, all the way into my lungs, then to my stomach. And then when I breathe out, I'm just releasing every bit of it, even if you have to kind of push a little out. But always keep breathing, like never stop, always in or out. After you've relaxed and you're breathing, then you start visualizing that you're breathing white light in, and it goes all the way down to your root chakra. Well, first, the root chakra itself, after you breathe and relax, visualize your root chakra down at the bottom of your spine, red color. Just visualize it, see how it works, see how it feels, and then breathe in white light and push that energy out. And you kind of create these branches in your legs to the bottom of your feet, like roots. And then the red energy, as you breathe in the white energy, the red energy goes down to those roots. And breathe about 5 breaths until all that red energy is out of your root chakra and it fills with white energy and it pushes the red energy down to your feet. And I know I'm not explaining this good, but I think you get the picture or general idea. Then you keep going after that, after it's at the bottom of your feet, you create the new energies or roots, and those go 33 feet deep in the ground, Breathe in the white light and push all the red energy. Once it gets to the bottom of the roots, let it kind of bleed into the earth and kind of release it all. And then after all that red energy is out and you filled up your whole thing with white light, start breathing golden yellow energy from the earth in the roots through your feet. So all the way deep, 33 feet deep, bring it up and you fill up your whole body, like every part from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head until it's really thick. So the first time when you're breathing, just to get the red energy to the bottom of your feet, it's 5 breaths. From there to getting it all the way out 33 feet deep, that's about 7 breaths. And then filling up your body with the golden yellow energy is 10. And once you do that, just kind of keep breathing in and out. And every time you breathe out, you're releasing, like, what does he always say? Fear, anxiety, hatred, anger, anything that's not positive or not neutral, you breathe it out. So after that, you're completely neutralized. It should let you feel neutral energy, not overexcitement or not super bouncing off the walls happy, but just very neutral and very mellow. Because that's what the Earth's energy is really is. It's nurturing, neutral energy. So that will help neutralize. That's the best technique I've known so far, and it works for me all the time. I use it before I channel and stuff. So yeah. Um, yeah, there's a couple. One that really works for a lot of people. I've never used it, but works for a lot of people is breathing, and kind of relaxing. Same thing, neutralize before. And then when you're sitting there, you point your eyes while your eyes are closed, you point them up towards the third eye and just focus in on the feeling of your forehead. Kalina uses that one a lot. It works good for her. But I've never worked with the third eye by itself. I usually work with all the chakras at once. But yeah, that's a good technique, and there probably are a bunch that are better than that that are out there. Binaural beats, some of those work good with the third eye. So if you type in binaural third eye, HemiSync and Equisync are two that I've used with great success. Like the HemiSync gateway is what helped me get to channeling. So those are all good stuff. I've never went to the college. I got the at-home courses, but Kalina's dad was there for 2 weeks, and he said it was the greatest 2 weeks of his life. He had a lot of breakthroughs there, and actually left his body a couple times. So yeah, might be something to check out. Yeah, I love the Monroe people. They're great. Yeah. Yeah, well, I've got courses too for meditation and channeling too. So if it's something you think that it's worth putting money behind, obviously there's so much stuff out there for free right now. But I teach all the techniques that I've got and work with people one on one. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm always around. Yeah, yeah, the same place where you bought the sessions, and I'll send you the link. It's a little funny the way it is on the site, but when you go down to the calendar to click on it, um, there's sub tabs on the calendar that say ARIDIF and Trev, channeling classes, meditation classes. I'll send you a screenshot of that too so that you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'll go ahead and send you that and the link here too. And then after I hang up, I'll send you the recording along with it. So, have you ever downloaded something from Skype? Okay, it's very easy. It usually, I think it starts automatically now, but if not, it's the same thing as downloading any file from the internet. So if you have problems, let me know. If you don't, then you should have it probably within 10 minutes or so. Absolutely, brother. And I'm gonna send you the picture, the screenshot of the thing too, which we'll download real quick, and then I'll send you the link to that too. So yeah, just let me know. You can book it on the website too. And now we're actually almost completely caught up, so there won't be any more hiccups. I don't foresee any more hiccups going there. So yeah, he's a lot better. He's doing great. And when we got back from California, me and Kalina were sick for almost. I was sick for 9 days. Kalina for almost 17. So we got a really bad swine flu strain from California when we were there for the channel panel. So, hmm well, thank you. I appreciate it so much. Our Oh, absolutely, man. I make it right with people because if I was on the other side paying for a service, I'd want it to be made right too. Plus the extra time. I know it doesn't really make up for the time waited, but it is valuable when you get into the channeling itself. So I'm hoping that it took away a little sting for the wait, and I appreciate your patience for sure. Oh, thank you, brother. And I'll go ahead and send you all that stuff in about 2 minutes, okay? Absolutely, brother. You have a great night. All right. Bye.